Welcome back to the Scottish Property Podcast, Russel Godferry.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
I looked back. So for the guests that won't know, or the ones that don't have went back, Russell was on the 1st of May 2020.
What happened back then?
We met in person. We weren't many, I think, in one of your SA units at a table.
It was on the cusp of COVID, wasn't it?
I'm sure we were lockdown or ish.
We weren't breaking any rules, were we? Honest.
No, I think we were okay.
I think we were okay.
Yeah,
it was literally like, I'm sure it was
like a couple of weeks.
Yeah. But you met because it was like, I think yourself, Linda Martin, Jerry Alexander were like the first few guests that we had on.
Yeah.
And so you might have changed the podcast in the way that it went by being a decent guest. So cheers.
I actually I think I sent you a screenshot, both of you. I went, this was 5 years ago, and I was just like, boom, and you're like, wow. Probably not. Seeing you, we went out in the motorbikes, but I've not seen you for a while.
You haven't aged at all, mate.
I think it's slightly less hair, stress.
Talking the same.
I've lost weight because of the stress. Yeah, it was good. I think we just literally talked rubbish for an hour. Which was brilliant because
it might be the same now.
Yeah, we all love property and we all just love to chat, and it was nice just to kind of no agenda, just what are you doing and what's happening.
Well, that's what we'll do this time, mate. If anybody wants to listen to Russell's kind of backstory, you can go back to episode 1 or whatever the hell it was. But yeah, you've still been really active, and I like the fact you're active in Edinburgh where people are saying they can't get deals and stuff, and you've still got your buy-to-lets, your essays, and your flips on all the time. So yeah, mate, fucking let's go back 5 years.
5 years. I can't even remember how many I had then, genuinely, but I know the Willow Bray one, we had bought it.
That was a main door flat you were going to essay, wasn't
it? I remember walking around it and the home report was like 220 or something. Bear in mind, 5 years ago, boy in Edinburgh, walked around it. As I was walking around it, phoned the agent and said, I like it, but it doesn't work the way it is. I'm going to have to move the kitchen, put in a second bathroom, one offer for you, 180. And this is when I was like, I don't know, maybe a bit ballsier and just be like, that's it, I'll walk away, there's plenty more deals. And then a few years on, you're like, deals are a little bit harder. And they accepted it. And we had to spend a lot of money, a lot of drainage issues and stuff like that. So we applied for did we apply for the license back then? Was it licensed? I can't even remember.
It probably wouldn't have been, no.
So 5 years ago, going to be an essay. It all kitted out. You turned up and you thought it was going to be like, plaster on the walls and just nothing, but it was a nice property to sit and chat. Yeah. And then COVID hit and couldn't essay it, and then made it just a buy-to-let rental for a few years. But the irony now...
Does it still work as a rental? Even
though it did, because I got it for 180. I don't remember the figures exactly. I think like 20, 25, 30 grand rental. And then I think we released a bit of equity through Aldermore, so we had to put in all the, the what work have you done, what work invoices. It was quite a lot of work to do that. So I think we left in a little bit of money, but I think the mortgage was like 400, but it was renting because a 3-bedroom for like 1,200 or something. Nice. Can't remember exact figures.
That's quite rare for cash flow in Edinburgh, isn't it?
It was doing pretty well because I think that's now worth like 320.
Was it?
And that was 5 years ago. Yeah.
Jesus.
Nice. I knew that was going to be one to keep.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this is where you think, right, Edinburgh, capital growth. It's got to be one of the number one strategies for people to invest in Edinburgh, no?
I think so. Because I remember I was saying to you before we started, Nick, I was watching it wasn't that podcast, it was a chat, and I was saying, I'm all about capital growth. But then once you've got enough capital growth properties, you're like, I could do with a bit more rental income. So you kind of look at other areas for your rental income. But then the capital growth is phenomenal in Edinburgh. You can buy a flat and double your money in a few years.
And that's only gone up in the last 5 years. There's not been any dips at all, has there? So, you look at Scotland, I think we just read out, last year, I think on average, probably 5% across the market.
Yeah.
So, but
I suppose at Edinburgh prices, your 5% is giving you a decent growth.
I think, 5%, 100 grand's 5 grand, 200 grand, etc.
How do you make things work though when you're paying like obviously higher interest rates on those bigger loans though? Is that just a case of...
I think fundamentally it's quite rare to get all your money out in Edinburgh. Like, you will leave in a little bit of money, and it might be, 10, 15, 20 grand, which is a lot of money. Yeah. And that's where the kind of flips come in to kind of back that up. So I think you need to be careful with your loan to value for your portfolio. You need to be careful with, do these numbers actually work? So we bought it for 180. ADS would have been 4% back then.
Probably 4, yeah.
So 4% ADS, 25% deposit, 30 grand rental. We would have left in a bit of money, definitely. It's rare I've done a few deals and I've got most of my money out, but I've always left in a bit of money. But I always kind of
look at it long term.
Look at it long term and just
so
think,
5 years on though. So 5 years on, you still not got a job, no?
No. I was thinking that on the way through here. I was like, what are they going to ask me? And I was like,
so
obviously you letting agent, portfolio landlord, coach, portfolio landlord, flips, buy to lets, rentals. There's like something for everybody.
Yeah.
What do I do today? I think fundamentally I'm always looking for the next deal. That's kind of, I'm not a good painter, I'm not a good plasterer, I'm not a good electrician, I'm not a plumber, I'm not a very good joiner. I'm good at organisation, I'm good at finding deals, and I'm good at kind of planning in that I know the one I'm doing just now, I'm releasing the equity in January. So I've already got offers in for stuff that I'm buying in January, and I'm getting one tomorrow, which is going to be a flip. So even though...
How do you decide what property is going into what, or what do you need? What does the business need? Does it need another buy-to-let? Does it need an SA unit? Does it need
I think it's just numbers.
Yeah.
I think it's like every deal works as SA pretty much, doesn't it? Because the returns are so good. You could leave in 20 grand and get it back
within a year.
Within a year. So the buy-to-let, it's sometimes you're just like, I like this area. Like there's a street, I've just bought one with my brother in Meadowbank, and there's a street there, and it's called Royal Park Terrace, and I love that street. So I'm always looking on that street. Not because the numbers are good. I just like that street, and it's got great views of Hollywood Park, and I'm like, I'd love to own one there, but they're really expensive. So I'm always hunting around there, but I think it comes down to numbers.
Yeah.
Like
and that would be more a capital appreciation play on it than, and I suppose if you bought somewhere on that street, would you just then go and, I need to go and flip another property and make 40 grand to leave 40 grand?
Yeah. That's pretty much exactly it. I think if you can, I think when I originally set out, I was like, if I flip one a year and it's a good flip, that will be enough money to replace my salary.
So this is interesting. This is what I want to dive into a bit more about, because people for us, there's like, obviously we've got monthly, everyone's got monthly expenses, your mortgages, your bills.
Cars.
The bills have got
cars,
motorbikes. So everyone's got bills, and everybody needs that kind of almost that regular income come along. This is where obviously the flips are great, because you can generate big chunks of cash, but sales can fall through.
Correct.
And you could be like, fuck, I need to pay my bills. So where do you get that core staple income from then?
My portfolio pays me, I've got a couple of flats that are a couple £100 a month, and I've got a couple of flats that are £1,000 a month, like in my hand, before tax.
Yeah.
Gross profit. So if you've got 10 of the £200, it's £2,000 a month. If you've got 10 of the grand a month, 10 grand a month.
Yeah.
So
and where are you sitting with the portfolio at the moment? Like, how many have you got?
I've got about 15 now.
Buy-to-lets or a mixture?
Or buy-to-let and SAs.
Yeah.
So mixture. So I've got 3 SAs, and the rest are buy-to-lets.
Is that a fly that's flying?
No, it's this jumper. It's like, it's
He's shedding.
It's just, I know.
You're shedding.
So you still fundamentally believe in the buy-to-lets as well?
I do.
As much as,
I do. I think it's what happened. So Whenever anything really bad happens in the property market, like taxes go up and the one or two landlord basically wants to get out. So there's always opportunities. Always want to buy when there's uncertainty. And that whenever there's uncertainty, get something under offer. Because fundamentally, in 2 months down the road when you're going to exchange, not that I've ever done it, and I never would like to do it, you can pull out. If it really is going to be that risky, you can say, listen, I'm really sorry, I just can't afford this. Something's happened. Buy-to-let still works, but you need to change your mindset in that you're not your mortgage percentage isn't 2% anymore, 2.5%. It's more like 4%. So and your rent has gone up a little bit, but obviously you would know all the kind of legislation behind that. But I think if you were starting out now, I think the deal sourcing part of it's massive. And then obviously you can I've seen a few of the guys that you've done, they do deal sourcing, they project manage. But the flips, I think what I always say to everybody is you need to have at least 6 months worth of bill money in the bank that you don't touch.
Because your flip's not going to be done and sold.
What happens if that flip, there's a structural wall that's an issue, and you need to go through planning, and you need to do this, you need to do that, and it takes longer. I'm quite honest to say, 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, I've been down to like 500 quid in the bank.
Shit.
You're still getting your rental income, and your SA, you get a big month booking or whatever, and you're like happy days. But fundamentally, you exchange the next day and you're like happy days. So I don't like to be that risky anymore. But back in the day in Edinburgh, really hard to get deals. Like,
you were nearly going back to getting a job there for that 500 quid.
I know.
What was it used to do anyway?
So I was like an area manager for a retail company, and not name names or anything. So yeah, it was good, and I really enjoyed it. I liked working with the people, and I liked what I did. But I think fundamentally, I always wanted to be self-employed.
And you're unemployable now.
Sorry?
Are you completely unemployable now?
Oh, I don't know. Have you got anything going? I don't know. I don't know, but there's so many opportunities. So why could I not write a book or a training program or do a podcast or JV with you or with anybody? There's so many opportunities in property. Yeah. So
would you say you're unemployable?
Aye,
I would say so as well. And the thing is, sometimes I think when I'm having like a stressful week, right, in the business, I'm like thinking that they've just put the taxes up. We just analysed that in the last podcast. By the time we pay 25% corporation tax, 35% dividend tax, your 60% tax, and I'm fucking getting all this shit.
Yeah.
There's been weeks where I've thought, fuck this, I'm going back to a 9-to-5 job.
You sometimes envy the people that have got that.
But then, and I can switch off on my holidays and have no stress. But then I'm like, no, I just couldn't. No, I just couldn't.
I think you would last a few weeks and you'd be like,
I think it's, you're guaranteed your money every month and you're going to get X every month.
I did see something now, sorry mate to interrupt you. I did see something the other day that is really to hit on that point. And it was something on Instagram and it says the biggest addiction's heroin and a monthly salary. And I was like, wow, that's
that was one of his paid. Well, that was one of his Facebook ads. Was it for his courses?
I think it should be.
Do you know what? It's safe as houses, but see when you talk to your pals or you go to the gym or wherever you hang out, speak to all your pals. How do you enjoy your job? I'm not. Can I swear? And
yes, like, I've just swore 10 times.
I fucking hate it. And you go, why do you hate it? And you go, because of my boss.
Boss is a wanker.
And you're like, why? And he's like, because he's so interested in making himself look good that we're not actually running the business properly. So you go back, I remember, so I'm in retail and I'm working, 5, 6, 7 days a week, coming back off holiday in at 8 o'clock in the morning, finishing at 6 o'clock at night, going home, driving up to see my mum and dad for 2 hours on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and then back down the road Christmas night. So for me, it was like, I'm not getting any time in my family at all, be it my wife, be it my family, whatever. Yes, you're guaranteed. But then, I think getting paid your monthly salary, but that just goes. It doesn't matter how much you get,
the more you make,
because you're not very happy.
But I would never diss anybody that stays in like a night. Running a business is not for everybody, right? And there's certain people that shouldn't run businesses because it's not for them.
I say to people all the time when they come in the workshop, the ones that have actually got like, do you enjoy your job? Yeah, I love my job. I'm like, you're in the perfect position. You can get to build this up on the side while loving your job. Like that's a great place to be.
See, for me, it's like, see when you're doing your own business, and again, it's with the property stuff, like all this stuff about this negativity about taxes and all the rest of it. What I think to myself is, right, I just need to go and grow the business. And
I was just about 20%. To say that.
And for me, there's no limit.
No.
Like for when I was in a job and I was in a salary, it was like I'm capped.
Yeah, you get 4% annual rise or something.
You hit your targets, your KPIs. You're doing really well, and then you go to the annual meeting and they go, "Oh, there's no salary increase this year. The business isn't doing well." No, what's happening is the business is expanding into another area. Yeah. So you're taking my bonus, my money I should get to go into that to grow the business for you. So you might hit bonuses, but you might not get that year on year 2-3% to help towards your bills. But I really enjoyed what I do, and I love the staff and all the rest of it. But self-employed is where I want to be, and I think the risk. It's only risky if you're taking big risks and you're maybe, I don't want to say not very good at it, but I think you learn what works for you. You know what you're good at. I don't think I could do what you do.
Yeah.
Do you think you build the baseline up as well? Like, the buy to let is almost that saving grace. Like we're kind of speaking off here as well. Like none of us really taking any money from our portfolio. So that the bills are covered. If the flip didn't sell or the SA didn't bring in any income, the buy to lets is covering the bills.
Did you not get married recently as well?
Yeah, that's like 5 years ago.
That's what I say.
That's changed it. Yeah, that's changed it as well. I remember when, I think I literally just went full time in the property or after the first flip, got offered a job, didn't take it, and that was me. That was just like there was
straight in.
no proper portfolio, one flip, and I was like, fuck it. And that was it. And that was it. So
That'll do me for the year.
And it took me about 2 weeks to decide, and I just didn't really know. I was like, yeah, that'll do me for the year, and I'll find another one. I had already found the next one, so that was good. But yeah, I think
changes it when you get married or you've got someone else to support.
I was working 7 days a week, and I would do as much as I possibly could. I mean, I'm talking everything, and like everything. If I was any good at anything, I would have done everything myself, and it'd probably take me a year. But I managed to find a couple of good guys. Like I'm still using the same joiner from day one. Like from literally day one, he does all my joinery work. And I've went through plumbers and plasters and all the rest of it, but I've got a core team now. But yeah, I think then it was 7 days a week. And then as I met my wife, and she's like, you need to take some time off. So I'll take a Sunday off. I still get a couple of calls. Then I was like, I'll take the weekend off, and I'll be like, right, what I try and do is I try and make it like a normal job, like Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. And obviously we all know it doesn't work like that. You still I got an invoice at 10 o'clock last night because the guy went and did some work after all the other jobs. And I was like, no problem, paid him, happy days. But so I try and have a little bit of time off, but which you need because that's why you're doing it.
Yeah.
You know?
Fancy making £1,500 for sending a WhatsApp? Let's take a wee break to talk about referring sellers to John and Lewis at Prime Property Auctions. The boys have paid out over £350,000 in referral fees. Myself and Stephen have both done it, and it couldn't be easier.
If you know someone selling a property, the guys will pay you £1,500 or 1% of the sale price, whatever is higher, just for passing their details. Doesn't matter if the seller is already on with an agent or not, as long as you're in direct contact with the seller, just drop the guys a message and they'll do everything from the first call to getting the property sold. If you know someone who might be looking to sell or struggling to get the result with their own agent, go to the link in the show notes and send them a message now.
You're not doing it to be rich and have flashy cars and watches, and you're doing it for your family and yourself, and you're being successful and feeling like you're actually contributing, you know.
Buy your time back,
everyone's got different motivations, but what's your main driver then in obviously life and what you're trying to achieve in your goals for your property?
I think when I first started, I was like, I want £1 million of property, and I want 10 properties. But then you hit that £1 million quite quickly. And then you've got your 10.
£1 million in Edinburgh is only a couple of flats.
It's only like literally four flats. And then you go, okay, so I want 20 flats, and I want. But I'm kind of quite selective on. I don't just want anything. I want either the good areas or the good returns, or I just don't want the kind of hassle with like bad tenants,
lower ends.
So my motivation would be, I think, so I'll be 50 in a couple of years, and I think I'm on track to basically not have to.
The same age as me.
A little bit older than you, right? Yeah, a little bit.
Fair play.
Yeah.
Look how young you can look when you don't have kids. You've not got kids.
No, not yet. No.
So that's how.
So I think by the time I'm 50, basically not have to work. What's that?
Didn't even wait till he's 45.
Aye, that's what I think, keeping you young.
Not basically a couple of years time, not have to work, but still doing what I'm doing because I want to.
Yeah.
Because I really genuinely enjoy it. Because like one of the projects, like my mum used to help me with the staging and like picking kitchens and all the rest of it. Now my wife's really, really good at that, because it's one part I'm not brilliant at. You know, like what's trendy, what colours are working, what's going to work. So she'll be really good at that. And then I got my dad down to help me paint like the woodwork. But it wasn't like I didn't want to pay for a painter. I just wanted to hang out with my dad for a day. Like get a coffee and shoot the breeze, and he's telling me how to do it right, and I'm like, okay, I'm never going to do it, but I got to hang out with him. So, and then obviously I do the odd project with my brother. So when I was working in retail, never got to do that, and I was working so many hours, never got a chance. Whereas now, like after this, I'm going to go down and just hang out with my folks because they're retired, and you know that's great.
So
and I'll maybe nip into the project. So that for me, that's
freedom time.
Yeah. Like, and it'll be random hours, like 8 in the morning, 7 in the morning, then 10 o'clock at night, and Sundays and this. But you can kind of plan in your days that you've got time to go and, you know, like especially with what you do with your kids and your kids, you find the time to do cool stuff. Maya comes on some of the projects and stuff like that. That's cool, you know.
Just getting bored.
He only uses her for social media content.
Hold the camera.
So that people go, oh, she's so cute. And then it gets you more
5,000 likes. There's our holiday to Lapland.
Thanks for that. Do you know, that's quite nice actually, the property business being surrounded by the family. And we were just chatting about like not taking any money for your portfolio.
Yeah.
There's one person that's going to be taking an income from my portfolio from this month. Mum. I'm actually telling my mum, and I said to her, like, just take her, like, pay your salary from the portfolio. And that was something that was one of my goals for years, and she never accepted it.
Yeah.
And I just wanted, like, she only works part time. She's got a house that she rents out, and she's with her partner, so she didn't need a huge amount of money.
Yeah.
She's a basic salary. And I'd say to her, as my grandma's getting older, needed a bit more attention. Our partner was diagnosed with some health issues as well, and it was always one of my main goals, but she wouldn't accept it. So for her to do that now, like coming forward, I'll probably have to spend more time with her because she's no longer have to work a part-time job, run a bit after grandkids. She can like, I'll come in and have a coffee with you. Come and have a coffee with me. Like, come and see me in a project.
And actually, a sounding board as well. Aye. Like if I've had a bad day, come in, 10 minutes to the wife, this happened. And then she's like, you'll sort it. And I'm like, yeah, I will. I will. Because I have to, because it's my business. And whatever problem it might be, and it might be something small, it might be something big, you know, you sort it, but you've got that sounding board as well.
What's been the biggest problem or challenge you've faced in the last few years?
Probably getting deals in Edinburgh.
Yeah.
Like I've bought a couple outside of Edinburgh.
When you bought the Cree fund, didn't you?
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us about that one then? Because that's an essay unit.
Wait a minute. See, talking about your challenges and you're finding deals in Edinburgh.
I just want a clickbait thing, mate, for your YouTube.
I want to know why. Why has that been difficult? Is it just because the lack of stock and the just supply and demand issues?
So I think fundamentally you've probably got lots and lots of landlords in Edinburgh which own one or two. So, you know, I've got a flat, my wife's got a flat, we get together, we rent that one out. That happens a lot. And fundamentally, your property, if it's in Edinburgh, is probably worth quite a lot of money. So that's probably your biggest asset. So to go on the market and let somebody buy it 50 grand below the home report, you're not really thinking like that. You're thinking...
Is that usually what your offers are?
100%. 100%. And I'll tell you a story about that. Actually, I actually learned a good lesson off somebody, and I actually messaged him privately and said, I actually learned something off you about that. But yeah,
right.
I'll tell you about that in a second. But so fundamentally, they don't want to let it go, and they can just put it back to a rental. So your challenge is, when I put my offer in, I try and... structure it in such a way that this is what I'd like to pay and this is why I'd like to pay it, and they'll go down that route, and it'll either be quite quickly a no, or there's maybe a bit of negotiation. Like I'll be looking at any given time, I'll have 10 properties I've got my eye on, and I'm probably really, really interested in maybe 3 or 4, and if I go and see them, I'll offer, and if it's a no, it goes on the back burner, on the next one, back burner, next one, back burner. Some stuff comes back to you in a year time, and then the offer's still the same, and then sometimes you get a deal done, and sometimes you don't. I think you need to be pretty thick-skinned, because you're not. You don't really get. You know, say it's 200 grand and you offer 180. They're not going to go, oh, they would take 185. They just say no. So where did you go from that? 185? No. 186, 187, and then, you know, you're just going back and forth.
Did you build up a reputation like with agents?
I
and
found
stuff
that really difficult.
like that?
Yeah, no, I see a lot of people doing that outside Edinburgh, and I really tried, and I do have maybe like half a dozen agents that I get on with really well, and especially not actually agents itself. What I found was the showing agents. You know, they actually show you the property.
The viewing agents.
They're not the viewing agents. They're not invested in that property.
Yeah. I suppose with Edinburgh and a buoyant market where people are paying over asking, or at least asking, the agents almost don't need you.
100%.
So you can try and suck up to them and build a relationship.
You can always tell when the market's not doing well, because you start getting phone calls from agents, and that's lovely, because they'll say, oh, we've still got this flat on such and such and street, would you be interested? And I'll say, yeah, no, I would be interested in that. Where do we need to be? Opens up. But when the market's buoyant, they're so busy with viewings, offers, closing dates. There's just not that time. And then agents move around.
Yeah.
But I've got a few that
Where was that lesson that you learned? Sorry, you were going to say.
So I found a flat in Leith. I don't know if I will mention his name. I found a flat in Leith, and I think it was 200 grand, and I offered 160, and they accepted it. And then the owner Googled my limited company, but he Googled the wrong limited company, and that limited company had been closed down. Nothing to do with me. Right. Next day back on the market. Right. And I was like, what's going on with that? And he says, oh, he doesn't want any more inspections. He wants cash only, etc., etc. And I was like, something doesn't seem right about this. I wasn't comfortable, right? It's fairly risk averse. And then a chum of mine who we all know, Matt Morrison, got it under offer. And about a month later, and I was like, hey, listen, fair play. What did you pay? and it was like 130.
Oh,
And I was like, what?
he's got better negotiating skills than you.
No, exactly. Better negotiation skills than me. So I messaged him and I said, that's phenomenal. Let me know how it gets on, because the owner was really difficult to deal with.
Did you not buy it from him?
No, he deal sourced it out to somebody else at 130. No, they'd already completed. And I said, let me know how the renovation goes, because there's something's not right with that roof. Did the renovation, looked great, and numbers were exactly where we thought it would be, and he did well. So what I took from that was, don't be embarrassed to go in, and the one I've just got is exactly that. Don't be embarrassed to go in really low with what you think it's worth.
It's worth what it is.
And I couldn't believe it. I was raging. Yeah. But on the same note, I was like, good for you, mate. Good for you. Yeah.
I would think that way as well. I'm like, well, this is something that I can learn here.
There's always people out there doing more and doing differently, and the more people you speak to, you go, I hadn't thought about doing that actually. And you can always kind of adapt, because with property, with interest rates and taxes, you do need to adapt. It might be that you are flipping one, keeping two. Now you flip two, keep one, or SA or buy to let or whatever it might be.
But it's amazing how so that vendor, that seller, basically he pulled out that deal because
literally
he came across that company that was in yours, and he maybe thought this guy's dodgy or something.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I don't know. It was.
Reading between the lines.
He had went on Company's House and he'd looked at a company and they sent it to me, and I went, that's not my company.
Did this come from the agent that was selling it?
So basically, I think it went under offer, and then literally the next morning it went back on, and I got an email saying etc, and they explained it, and I said, that's not my company. Like,
it's mental though, isn't it? How then he accepted the 130, 30
I think there's just the fact that he didn't want to have any inspections. He wanted to be cash, and there was quite a lot of things to it. Bear in mind, this guy was.
Did Matt come in with a cash offer then?
I don't know. I didn't. I was too raging to talk to him.
We need to get Matt on. You and Matt face to face.
I know. But I was chuffed because I really like Matt. We've met for a coffee.
Nice guy.
And I've talked about stuff I would like to buy, and I'm saying, listen, I know you've got your guys, the preferred clients that have got quite a lot of money and they buy a lot of stuff, but if there's something you think would work for me, then just drop me a message, because I'll look at it, and you never know what will work for you. That was a lesson learned.
Imagine if you were on his client list, you would have got that one for 135.
I know. I
thought 30 grand sourcing fee.
Do you know what? I thought 160 was good, because I think the end value was about, I think the home report was about, maybe it was 2, I think the end value is maybe about 210, 220. Had roof issues and access was quite difficult, like narrow staircase and stuff like that. So out with his challenges, but they did the reno and it looked nice.
Do you not find that it's becoming, I think we've kind of helped this, it's become such a small community now, the Scottish property
it's brilliant
community, because we're like, same with our networking events, like new people coming to networking events and they're like, oh, I recognise him, he was on the podcast, like
you feel like your best friends. Like I've seen you recently, I haven't seen you in years, but I'm still like, I'll be talking to my wife and I'll say, oh, Nick, and she's like, Nick who? And I'm like, Nick Ponty. Like, what do you mean? Like my best pal from Glasgow. What do you mean? You know what I mean?
I was
speak to him every day.
We voice know each other actually quite a lot, because we're all so busy. It's just like, how's your meal deal?
I was at Silverburn last night taking those clothes back to Zara, and I'm walking out to Zara, right? I've got wife's giving me a list of 10 things to do. Go to Boots the Chemist, pick up that, go to Tesco's, get the kids packed lunch, blah, blah, blah. Right, so I'm on a mission out at Zara, and the guy's like, Nick. I'm like, all right, mate, how you doing? And I was like, he'll be listening to this. And I'm like, I went up to him and there was that kind of, must have been that blank look on my face, like, oh, how you doing, mate? All right, like that.
Funny you say that. I was in Stacks, and I was probably talking a wee bit too loud about some portfolio that I was trying to move on from. Somebody had reached out to me and had a portfolio, and I said, yeah, I'll see if anybody's interested in it. The guy behind me literally turned around and went, are you Russell from Seba Investments? And I was just like, yeah. And he went, tell me about this portfolio. I was just like, six properties, one not, etc. And I took his number and I was like, yeah, reach out to me. I'll get you in for a viewing and whatever.
My wife always goes nuts to me if I ever go food shopping, which is very, very seldom now.
Yeah.
Bump into somebody and I'll speak to them for 10 minutes. She's like, who's that? I'm like, no fucking idea. Like,
At
she's
least
like, you
10,
spoke to him for
yeah.
10 minutes. Like, you knew him like you was your best mate. It's like, you had a good crack. I don't know who it was.
I
But, like,
know,
we used to get that
I
quite a
know.
lot with, like, obviously the gyms and the martial arts.
Yeah.
You've went through people that you've spoken to, and obviously now with the podcast and the networking events, the people you'll see, you're just like, I think it was somebody that's been at the podcast event.
Yeah. But they'll probably ask you something that you feel that you can help them
Aye.
with. So you want to give them that 10 minutes. And you're just, I met there's a guy in Edinburgh that I met. I can't remember his tagline, but he does like all the joinery stuff from scratch. So he's like a finishing joiner, like beautiful stuff. So he does client-based stuff, like, all brand new furniture, all made from scratch, like solid oak, like amazing stuff. We met up for a coffee for an hour because I was at my project and the one I just flipped. And lovely guy chatting away, and he's like, I want to be self-employed. I want to do this. And I was like, what are you looking at? And he's like, I'm looking at this flat. And he says, but I just don't really know how to analyze the numbers. So I said, show me the flat. And he showed me it. And I said, right, okay. Like 30 seconds of me analyzing data. And I said, that doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, how? And I said, well, this. And he's like, I didn't even know how to do that. And I said, no, that's fine. Yeah. And then, but I was like, but if you're making so much money in your job and you need to leave in a little bit of money, that's okay, because he's so skilled, but he wants to go, I think he is actually now going full-time in property. I probably can't afford him to do any joinery work because the stuff is really high end, but and you take that time, and we spoke for an hour, we had a coffee, and it got me away from the flat, and you're chatting and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a lovely guy. He still voice notes me now. He says, I've just bought this flat. I think he's just bought one. I think he's wrapping up his business to go full-time in property because he's got like a few buy-to-lets already. Yeah. But the one he was looking at, I was like, you're going to leave in 30 grand. Have you got 30 grand to leave in? And he's like, not really, but I've got that amount of money from working. I was like, but that's not going to help you
scale.
Stop working. Yeah.
That's interesting. That's good. Tell us about the diversification in outside Edinburgh.
Yeah. So my parents, so I grew up in Dollar. My parents moved to Crieff and lived there for 10 years. So I spent a bit of time up in Crieff one summer, and always quite liked the place. It is a lovely place. And I think Edinburgh I've had that 2 years now, couldn't really get anything in Edinburgh. But you know what it's like, you're looking, see when you look too hard, you're trying to make stuff happen. It sometimes just doesn't work. And there was a cottage in Crieff, and I went up and I looked at it and I really liked it. And then so I'm going to come back up for another look. And the guys, I think the home report was 100, and they said they'll not take, it was a business that owned it, they'll not take less than 80. And I said, right, okay. So I went to go back up for my set. I know.
Terrible agent skills.
I know. They won't take less than 80. And I went, 80 might work depending on the reno. So I was going to go back up, and they said, we're no longer dealing with it. So did a bit of
research. Not surprised.
Yeah, they just did.
The sellers like that. They've offered it for 80 and the home report's 100.
Keep getting it offered 80. Why?
So basically, so I got the home report, found the company, researched the company, found the person in the company to speak to, phoned up, spoke to this lovely lady down south, can't remember her name. Can I come in for a viewing? No problem. I'll get the groundsman to come and let you in. So the groundsman let me in. No problem. Looked round, second viewing, kind of got my numbers together, and then emailed her and just said, listen, I really like it, but I don't think I could be near 80. And she's like, where do you need to be? And I was like, I was honing my Matt Morrison here. And I was like, 60? And she's like,
he would have gone 40.
I know, 40. So she went, I couldn't do 60, but I could do 65. And I was like, what about 62.5? Because everyone does that. 62.5. Done.
Nice.
30-ish.
Wow. What year was that?
2 years ago.
That's all right.
100 square metre cottage, back garden. Nice. We drove past it. Yeah, lovely. Yeah,
comes with a groundsman. Wages are 30 grand a year.
Yeah, don't quite. Yeah, he doesn't bother coming, but yeah, he let me in a couple of times. And then 30 odd grand reno, revalued at 140, 98 grand mortgage, all out money.
Lovely.
Runs as an Airbnb, all fully licensed. Not super, super busy, but busy enough.
What are you basing your occupancy rate on?
The way
it's been going 2 years.
So year one was phenomenal. Right. Year two wasn't quite as good.
But the way that is.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think with the Airbnb, you kind of adjust your stays, like 2 nights, 3 nights, 4 nights. Your cleaning gets a bit more expensive. Do you take dogs? Right. Is there cheaper elsewhere?
You're running that yourself? management.
So the Airbnbs, I manage them myself. Yeah, I mean, I've got a cleaning team that I just literally send them the month ahead. I ping them a message. There's the bookings. They go in, and I've got with Airbnb, you've got like your fast replies. How's the washing machine work? Ping. It's already the instructions are there. It's really easy. So we basically remortgaged it all out money, and I think rent would be about $750 a month, and I thought if I can get double that over the year, then that's doing better than a rental, and that's the way I run my figures off. But
are you managing to achieve that?
Yeah, I've not touched any of the money from that because I know it's probably going to need a new roof.
Yeah,
the roofer said it need a new roof in a year,
which is probably why you got that you were able to negotiate.
The roof, it's a 100-year-old cottage. The roof's quite wavy. I've had 2 patch repairs, about £500, and it's watertight now. So if it lasts another 10 years, happy days. I think the first 20 grand that I make from that is just going to sit there. That's for the roof, because if that roof goes, you can't Airbnb it, and you need it done quickly. And
what sort of feedback are you getting then from guests and stuff? Has it been good?
Do you know what? It's funny with Airbnb. Some people will give you 5 stars, and then the next person will go, "Oh, the road was noisy," and you're like, "But you've got the address, you've got the location ping on the map."
Yeah, you can look at it.
Not check.
Yeah, you know where it is, but they don't. They kind of think you'll do everything for them, and so I've got stuff like in the first sentence, Creef is on the main road the cottage is on the main road into Creef.
To try and emphasise,
it's going to be a little bit. It's got double glazing
because it is all based on reviews. That at the end of the day, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Do you put it on Booking.com as well?
I do, but no offence, Booking.com, but I really don't like the platform. I find it really challenging to get round. Like I had a booking the other day for a whole month.
Do you know the channel managers that manage them and put them all on across the whole platforms?
I've never got round to that, to be honest. I thought because I was only running 3 or 4 at the time, and like the Edinburgh ones were like 96, 98% occupancy, and I don't do one night bookings. So if I'd done one night bookings, you were pretty much 100%. Like unbelievable, unbelievable. But Creef obviously not as much, maybe about 60, 70%, which is okay.
So how many essays or holiday lets have you got going now?
So I had 3 in Edinburgh and 1 in Creef, and now I've got 3 in Edinburgh, but I'm going to add another one. If I can dance round
the license.
Oh, yeah, if I can dance round the license.
So how has that been? That's a really topical thing with the licenses with the ones in Edinburgh. So bring us up to speed, because we've talked to numerous people and I'm still unclear about it.
I had an interesting call from, so originally I applied for the license with my architect and it was just declined, right? Not the license, sorry, the planning permission. This was a few years ago.
Right.
Instantly declined, nothing. So things have changed a little bit. So when I spoke to the head of the company that I used to apply for me, now you can apply yourself and it's cheap as chips, but the way that they put it forward was they started using terminology like, so grandfathering, which is actually a British term, not American. I thought it was an American term because they seem to do that with a lot of their extensions. So what he was kind of saying was, obviously, if you've been running for 10 years, you can get a certificate of lawfulness, right? But if you're new to letting it out, what he's saying is it's worthwhile to keep kind of appealing and paying the money and applying to have it running, because eventually there may be a grandfathering part of the business.
If you've been doing it so long.
You've been doing it for so long. But I said to him, he says, I've had people that have got main doors and I've got people that have never owned an SA in their life and they've applied. They've got it, they've not. And
so
he doesn't know. He doesn't know.
There's no hard and fast rule on it.
So yours shared close.
One of them's a main door. 2 of them are ground floor, but they don't walk past anyone's property, whether that makes a difference or not. One of them appealing, and then the other one, you do walk past people's properties, but if you come in the back entrance, you don't.
Right.
So
you had any issues from any neighbours? Because for me, that's where the downfall is.
That's where I was going to next.
As soon as you have a neighbour there who kicks up shit, that's when the council are going to come and close you down, right?
100%. I think so. when I take on a project to renovate it, it takes maybe 2-3 months, right? I put up a notice, hi, Russell from number such and such. We're going to be doing renovation work. I don't let the guys start before 9, and I don't really let them, any noisy work, go past the kind of 7 o'clock, but really kind of 5-6 o'clock. They get the staircase cleaned at the end professionally. I keep on top of the dust. And if any of the neighbours have got rubbish to get rid of, I'll say, just leave it at the front door. I'll get my guys to go. So you try and be as helpful as you can. So that, you know, A, because you're a nice person, and B, you don't want the hassle. I've had a few neighbours kick off with me, and we've kind of had a chat and we've worked it out. But what the guy also said was, when you're going through your appeal for this one, could you get a couple of the neighbours to write your recommendation?
Like reference.
And I was like, can I? I was like, but I did. I got 2 of them. They were like, yeah, no problem. And I remember the girl in the next building through the wall said to me, she was like, oh, people she texted me, she must have got my number from the license and whatever. Said the people that stayed last night were outside at 4 a.m. smoking and a bit loud. And I was like, there's not much I can do about that, because anybody could do that. But I said, no problem, leave it with me. I'll see what I can do. So I think it boils down to, if you're a one night stay, folk are going to have parties, right? Yeah. If you're really cheap, it's just going to be anybody. So I think you need to try and do it that it's maybe 2 or 3 nights. You're not super cheap, and you can take your Instabook off. So anyone that books that's not had a review before, you can kind of say, I don't really like, if they just say, I want to book your place, you can kind of go, can I have a little bit more than that? You know, why are you coming to Edinburgh? How many are there? Like I had, I've got Blink cameras in Crieff, front and back. And the day that these guys were checking out, there must have been a dozen guys. It sleeps 5. A dozen guys left, and my cleaner standing outside filming them. All these dudes just walking out. Mattresses were pulled off the bed. Folk are on the floor. And I was like, I'm not having that ever again. No damage.
Where do you think you went wrong there? That you could,
I had Instabook on. They just booked it. Yeah, they'd booked it, and then
I think you could have picked up on that.
I mean, they had no reviews. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, but when you're not making that much money, it's a quiet month. You kind of want a bit of anything, you know, really. So I reported them and blocked them, but you just need to create a new account. So yeah, you're kind of trying to limit your exposure with that. But I've never had any. I know, I'm not naming them, but I know somebody had lots of stuff stolen.
All right.
Like duvets and pillows. They didn't take the TV, but they took loads of stuff. I've never had any of that. Just
any major damages to any of the property?
Guy was smoking in the flat a little bit. It wasn't terrible. Cleaner came in, did a wee bit extra. Washing machines break eventually. Sometimes the odd door, but nothing really. Like the odd mattress. A year or 2 on, the mattress needs replaced anyway. So nothing.
How do you compare it to a standard buy-to-let then? You've now got a handful of SA units that are working there.
I think financially or like...
Yeah, it's financially and maybe time constraint or mind constraints on what it pulls you into.
I think with your if I had a dozen Airbnbs, I would have somebody managing them. I think you get asked, because people come from a lot of different countries, they don't really know how your central heating system works, because they might be coming from such a hot country.
Oh, I used to struggle with that.
And then it'd be like, can I drink the water?
Oh,
and you're like, it's Scotland,
yeah.
you know. But they don't know that.
There's a thing called Google, or there's a thing called ChatGPT.
So I think
I just can't, because like literally you are like hotel kind of receptionist, aren't you? So you're on the hospitality.
Yeah, you know they're checking in at 3. So if somebody's checking in at 3, I try and have my phone available around about 3. Like, the lockbox isn't working. I say, can you send me a picture? And they send you a picture and I go, yeah, it's not that one. The lockbox is over there, which is in the picture that I sent you.
In Edinburgh, I've often thought that could be quite hard work, because a lot of times you see like loads, hundreds of them.
Loads, I know. I think as long as you've got really clear instructions, but pictures is everything, so they can just look.
Where are we at just now then, Edinburgh Council? Like, if you were to buy a flat tomorrow in Edinburgh and you tried to apply for a licence, could you still do that at the moment?
You can still do it. Yeah,
would you get it? Do you think?
No.
We'll happily take your money.
The thing is, though, so a full licence with planning costs about £5,000,
and you're waiting,
and you're waiting. But you can select the date. So let's say you get your project's finished in April. So you you apply, but you want it starting the 1st of June. So you've got June, you can have it for maybe a couple of months if you go through like a temporary license. And after your temporary license, you can apply for the gap license, which is basically a full license. And then you're basically all you're doing is just trying to pad it out. Basically, you're probably not going to get it. You might get it, you might not. It's 50-50, but it's a lot of money to furnish it, apply for the licenses, wait, because you're not getting rent. You're paying your council tax, you're paying your gas and electric, your internet. You've put a nice TV in, nice sofas, nice beds. So you're waiting, but you're hoping that. And then they've obviously I don't know if Glasgow's done this, but they've just brought in that holiday tax. The 5%?
Yes, I think.
So every booking after October that takes place after June 2026, the first 5 nights, you have to give the council 5%. So if you're £100 a night,
man.
So £100 a night, so you're like 25 quid.
Wow.
Yeah. So but you can add that on to your booking, but then people might go, oh, but next place is a bit cheaper, or Stephen,
How is it? No, they only charge that in Edinburgh because we don't get any tourists coming to Glasgow.
To be honest, it's like, I think, like
mental,
I didn't get tickets for Oasis and I was livid because I was like everybody. I was online for days, hours and hours trying to get it. And I was like so raging. I made it so expensive for my Airbnb. So I thought, well, if I do get a chance, I'm going to buy a ticket for £1,000 because I really wanted to go.
Because I'm making the money from my Airbnb.
People booked it. It was like stupid expensive, but people still booked it.
What did you?
Like £500-600-700 a night.
Wow.
Yeah, like New Year. I've got New Year open now. Like 6 months ago, and I think I started off at like £500-600. Wow! But the people will complain that it's expensive, but when I actually meet them and they're chatting away, saying, "Oh, we couldn't find anything. It's so expensive."
A hotel's going to cost you £400 a night. Right?
Exactly, but you can cook your own food and you can stay. And I said it's expensive because our expenses are a lot. It's not because we're greedy. We're just
My worst experience of the year was the Edinburgh Christmas markets, man. Oh my God.
I saw your video actually.
Never again.
That looked crazy.
Oh man, we went to Saturday. No, it was all right. It was dry that night.
Sunday
we went to Saturday night and it was like, they've changed it this year, right? So you used to be able to get in and out Princes Street.
Yeah.
Like no bother at all.
Each end,
But they're now putting you down at that corner, down the bottom ends, and everyone's got to go through. It's like, so I summed it up, it was like going to IKEA, where you can only go in one way and out one, because they basically want you to go past all the market stalls, all the traders.
And what you actually want to do is just walk through,
get to the swings,
see stuff and go, go around the swings and then go, okay, that was fine. I want to go and sit in a coffee shop on the other side of Princes Street and just look at it. I don't actually want to be in it. I've not actually been yet.
Talk to me.
I know. So
experience with did you say Crail? Was it
Creef?
No, Creef. Sorry, I always get mixed up. Creef and
Crail was out by St Andrews.
Creef, what council's that?
Perth.
So that would Perth and Kinross. Perth and Kinross Council then.
Yeah.
What was the experience with getting the licence there?
Brilliant.
There you go. Yeah. So what you thinking?
But you still see so in Scotland I think there's 23 or 33 councils, I can't quite remember. Everyone's got different criteria. And you need to go on their website and tick the box. And if you don't tick all the boxes, you're going through planning. Like for instance, if you got a hot tub.
Right.
So I got a phone call. I'd applied. This is crazy. I was thinking about putting a hot tub in, thinking this would be super luxurious and stuff. So I applied, and a lady from the council phoned, and she went, "I've just got a couple of questions." I said, "Lovely, yep, go for it." She went, "Your license is fine, everything's great, no problem at all. Are you putting in a hot tub?" And I was like, "I thought about it, but I don't think so." She went, "If you don't put in a hot tub, that's fine."
Right.
So I was like, "Okay, no hot tub."
Aye.
And that was it. So,
interesting.
But obviously the criteria in Edinburgh is different to Perth. But I found it quite easy with that respect. But changing from domestic rates to kind of business rates, that was a wee bit backdating it and stuff like that. So
you're talking about changing from council tax to
business
rates.
Yeah.
That was harder, was it? What's the process for that? You have to fill out another form.
You fill out some forms, but obviously there's it's quite difficult because you fill out the forms and you apply, and then you want them to backdate it because you'll be running it as a short-term let. But then you can get like a small business loan, which is free to pay for the business rates. So it's fairly complex. And again, I didn't know about that. It was actually my brother said, you can do this. And I was like, no.
So see your rates that you pay on that.
Right, it worked because so your rates are less than council tax.
It is less.
You need to get somebody to collect your rubbish, and you need to pay for water. So it works out about the same.
But with the council tax, what they do is they double it, don't they? If it's like So
if you're an empty home, so I've just received that for one of my flats in Edinburgh. They've given me a £400 fine because it's been empty for too long.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's not been empty for too long. It's a short-term let.
Yeah.
And I pay my council tax every month and I've never missed it. So I've appealed that. And that was like a £500 kind of fine. So you need to be on top of all that sort of stuff. Because when I first started, you could so every property's got a year's exemption from council tax if you're doing renovation. The property itself, not the owner, in its lifetime, 1 year. Okay. So if you're past that year, you used to be able to apply and you'd maybe get 50% off for 6 months.
By proving that it's uninhabitable.
Oh, yeah, you were doing everything. Whereas now, I buy the property, I just pay the council tax because it's cheaper than paying double. And they will double it and they will backdate it.
Aye. That's a good tip.
Yeah. And you know, you just
You learn.
you learn stuff, yeah.
I've done that in a flat in Union Street that's had a roof issue for about over a year now.
Yeah.
So I've got my empty rates. I've just put one of my companies in as a company let because I might as well pay the council tax rather than getting hit with double.
Yeah, because it's a lot of costs.
Yeah.
You know, like fundamentally, property has a lot of costs out with the maintenance. So when you're stacking up your deal, you're basically what can I buy it for taxes and reno, but then you forget about maybe your bridge or your mortgage payment. Maybe don't forget about that, but your gas and electric, because all your guys come in and just charge all their tools. The heating's on full gut. You know, it ends up being an extra maybe an extra grand or something at the end. But you
any other big lessons you've learned over the last 5 years that you can share with our listeners, or have you just been anything else you've been dabbling with, or any other strategies, or where are you going to focus your attention?
I mean, to be honest, for me, I think I said on the last one it was business as usual, but I think your business kind of diversifies a little bit. Like I've done a couple of client projects,
right?
You know, friends of friends.
You're project managing
a project, yeah. So like if I've got a quiet spell, and a friend of a friend came to mind saying she wants her bathroom done, and then the bathroom turns into painting and then flooring and then this, and I just said to her, I said, I've got 4 weeks before I get the keys to my next one. I think I can do everything you want in 4 weeks, but after that 4 weeks, if there's anything left, I'm going to struggle but I will get it done, but you need to give me a bit of time. She said, no problem at all. So that 4 weeks, I had all my guys in there, redid the bathroom, rejiggled out, we did a bit of this, we did a bit of that. And it was great. And you make quite good money on client projects.
Right.
But clients, and she was lovely, by the way, clients are unbelievably pernickety about, you know, like a tile's got to be cut perfectly. Whereas a buy-to-let, that one tile's not a disaster.
Yeah,
that kind of struggle with sometimes as well, because you're like, look, I would be like, I know this is not perfect, but if it's my property, I'd be quite happy. I just, you know, the main thing is nobody's really going to notice that.
Yeah,
you know.
I think so. When I first started out, I was always, I did as much as I possibly could, and I stuck to my budget regardless. I was like, I need to stick to that 15, 20, 25 grand. Whereas now, I'm a little bit more relaxed on myself. Like my wife said it the other day, she was like, you need to love yourself a bit more. For instance, do you want to break your back taking all that rubbish to the tip, or just pay a guy 100 quid?
Aye.
And I was like, do you know what? She's right. 100% right.
I've been there as well.
So you need to love yourself a little bit more to
realise the value of your own time as well.
Yeah, because that's not what I'm good at. I'm good at other stuff, you know.
Would there be any other things that you've picked up from the project management for other clients that you would say, just make sure you do that? Like for me, it's like, how do you kind of price things at the start? It's quite difficult, isn't it? Because like you're obviously getting other trades in, but it's quite a lot of work to obviously manage all. Like
I think what I kind of done is I'll do a video and I'll send it to my plumber and I'll send it to my spark and I'll send it to my plasterer, but I already know roughly what it's going to be if it goes over. So for instance, on that project, I think I was £500 in profit more than I thought I was going to make. So she wanted her back door done. I just did it for free. I said, we've actually saved on this, so I'm going to do that for nothing.
So you provide like a cost.
I don't tell them how much I'm going to make.
Yeah,
but I provide so the way I would do is like, I'll say, we're going to go with whole new bathroom. We're going to tile 30 square meters of tile. Your budget for your tiles is £30. If it's £31, it's £1 per square meter.
Right.
You know, so there'll be extras. and etc. etc. But then she added on loads and loads of stuff. So the loads of stuff was maybe another $2,000. It cost me $2,000, but I'd already made my profit, so I charged her $2,000.
Okay.
I could have made a markup on that, but that's just it filled a gap for me. All the guys got paid. I was happy. She was happy, and we ended up honestly the extras. There was loads of stuff.
Yeah.
But I was like, the guys are there anyway. This is the time to do it.
That's decent.
And you learn as well. Like she had a really cold wall in her bedroom. And never really dealt with that before. So really honest, never dealt with that before. What would somebody normally do? Maybe move the radiator, but then floors are up. So you go away, you do a bit of research, and there was this like a cold wall paint you can get. That's probably not what it's called, but let's call it that. And we got that wall, we replastered it, we painted it. What a difference it made. Never done that before in my life. And I said, I'm going to try that. If it doesn't work, we'll use thermal lining paper and we'll just paint it again. No problem. We're going to try it. Fine. And what a difference. So you can always learn stuff as well. But on pricing, actually something clicked with me the other day or a few weeks ago, and somebody was put up an anonymous post on maybe your website. How do you price a rental project? And I was like, there's too many variables. There's too many variables.
It's like, how do I make money from property?
Yeah. So what I did was I looked back at my last kind of half a dozen projects, and the way I kind of worked it was, if it's a 60 square meter flat, right, cut that in half is 30, times that by 1,000, and that's roughly what you're renting, and that's a big renovation. So like if it's so I did an 80 square meter renovation that needed a wall coming down, and we put in an extra bathroom. It was about 40 grand, and then I did a 40 square meter flat, and it was about 20 grand, and I was like, it's not an exact science, and it's definitely not an exact science.
This is Russell's formula.
Yeah, and do you know what? And I was going to post it, and I thought, no, it just looks stupid because there's too many variables. Because as soon as you start going with gold fixtures in your bathroom, it's more expensive.
But everything's variable depending on the property you're renovating.
How high level?
I always get that. If it's academic people that come on the workshop, they're always like, there must be a price per square metre for it. I was like, for new builds it is, but not for renovations. Like you go to a QS to price it on a price per square metre, it'll blow the numbers out the water, the project won't make sense. And I did the same kind of task you were doing. I was renovating three bed ex council houses at the same time, all mid-terrace, all 93 square metres, like they were all this kind of same size, but you look at one needs a roof repair, one's got a boiler, one doesn't, one's got a bit of damp, one's got central heating, one doesn't, one needs a kitchen.
So it's impossible to do, but I think as long as you give yourself, I used to give myself like 20 grand, and it just wouldn't be enough, and I would go over and I'd be really annoyed at myself. Why? How did I not manage? And the kitchen would come in at like 5, and I'd be like, we need to do it for 4, and I'd be pushing everybody to get it cheaper. And then I think it was maybe something you said, and I was like, well, the more I spend on a reno, right, the more that's tax deductible. So if I spend 25, not killed myself, I've got an extra 5 grand to deduct from my tax.
I've got a client at the moment, and he's absolutely brilliant. Like, he's a brand new client, right? But that's his favourite word, tax deductible. Right?
Is that
So anything that I say to him, he said, well, that's tax deductible, isn't it? I said, aye. But it's like any cost that I throw at him. So it's like brilliant. That's just his default.
So I've got my renovation spreadsheet that I do. And I keep a note of like literally every pound, like literally every pound, just so I know. And then you're sort of looking at it at the end, but then obviously my property management company that managed the buy-to-lets, I get an invoice at the end of the year and it shows what I've paid. But there's all those other variables. Like I had to go in, my brother and I had to go in and redo an ensuite. So we had to take up the floors, take out some tiles, and maybe cost 400 quid. But that's all the material, no labour, because it was us. But then the cost of the material, I just took a wee note under that property. So the end of the year, and you'll be surprised how much it, a dozen, 15, 20 flats that all need a little bit of something, and it all adds up. And that's kind of helping you along the way a little bit.
How many motorbikes have you got?
Bikes. I've just got the one. Do you know what? I bought that, I don't know, 5 years ago. As my little escapism. I'll go take a blast to East Lothian, or if I need to get somewhere where parking's a bit tricky in Edinburgh, the bike I can park for free if it's in the summer. And it's great just to go away. But
Did you buy a motorbike as well?
He was at me for about 4 years to buy one.
Are you two meet up now?
We went out
motorbikes for the leathers.
We went out for a wee cruise, but I kind of like,
A cruise.
I'd never. We were like, it was quite strange because I usually I didn't really know where we were going. And I was like, oh, we're going to Glen Eagles Road. I know this really well, back in my hand. And I'm like, where's Stephen gone? Stephen's like away and he's like cruising, and I get there like 20 minutes behind him because as soon as you get a wee bit of traffic, you just can't overtake.
Is he mental?
No, he was fine. No, he was fine. He was good. I think you know your level. But no, I took that on PCP. And then I had it for like 3 years and it was a couple of grand to pay it off. And I thought, I'm going to pay it off. I'm going to go and get myself a Ducati, something beautiful racing kit. And I was like, do you know what? I do a couple of thousand miles a year and it's fine. It's just for a bit of fun, you know.
What other things have you got like going on in your life personally? Like any other passions, hobbies? Do you like travel or anything like that?
So I love going, massive snowboarder. So I hopefully
still doing it at 50, mate. You're going, doing well.
But I've got like
knees or
so I've got myself a helmet now. I've got myself a back protector. I'm just in case, you know, because I'm thinking if I can't be at the project and I, you know.
You're still stomping those 720s.
Yeah, well, I'd like to say. To be honest, when I get my time off, it's spending time with family, and it'll be, for instance, I helped a friend out. She was doing her bathroom, and for however reason, it was kind of running on a bit. Like, so I helped her out, and she bought me a nice voucher for Prestonfield House. So we went there for the weekend just for afternoon tea, and it was just like, you know, nice. So it's quite swanky, and I don't like to do that stuff every week, but it was amazing, like genuine. I'm not promoting them, but it was absolutely perfect. So I think experiences.
We'll make that next year's prize for the podcast, because we just did a prize for the most people were posting their Spotify wrap-ups for the year. Yeah. And it gave you the number of minutes you've listened to the Scottish Property Podcast. Right. So we gave away a prize, but that sounds like
it was honestly, it was unreal. Loved it. But I think you work hard, so you want to...
You deserve these awards, don't you?
It doesn't have to be like, oh, I'm going to go and buy a new Lamborghini this weekend that I'm going to sit in the garage and never really drive it, because I'm driving to work every day. But I think experiences, going and doing nice things, that's what really kind of... I used to buy, I don't know about you guys, but I used to buy so many pairs of trainers and stuff, like just stuff, and I've kind of stopped doing that. So like I'll say to myself, okay, I wanted to get me on a saying to you, I wanted an Akrapovic exhaust for my bike. So I was like, it's about $1,000. It's not crazy, but I was like, I'll not buy loads of stupid stuff, and I'll buy one nice thing for my bike, or one nice thing for me, a holiday or a break or whatever. And that's kind of where I'm maybe adapting a little bit more, being less frivolous on stuff.
I'm with you on the snowboarding. I love my snowboarding.
That's right, yeah.
But buying a good exhaust, I'm not getting that.
But like how old's like, I had a look the other day and I was like, I've got a Libtech Travis Rice Special, right, which was really expensive back in the day, about 500 quid.
Still got it.
It's like 10, 15 years old now, and I love it. And I was looking at boards the other day, and they were like basic Burton, £400-500, and I was like, I go up like half a dozen days a year. Yeah, I'm not going to bother. But it was like, I just had a little look. But yeah, there's.
We need to get a day up, mate. That'd be good.
We need
to get a day up.
Definitely. There's loads of snow up in Aviemore just now.
Aye.
Nice.
The problem is, it comes and goes within
too quickly.
Yeah.
What's the next 5 years look like for you there, mate?
So, as of right now,
you're not coming on the podcast in 5 years' time. We'll try and do a little bit quicker this time, mate.
Retirement? No, I think depends on what happens with tax. There's quite a lot of talking about the tax stuff, but for me, it'll be, I'll keep doing what I'm doing, what I enjoy. And I was thinking that driving through here, it was like, we're all in property and we all do our own thing. And I think as long as you're doing what you enjoy, but I think it'll still be adding stuff to the portfolio, trying to find certain areas that have maybe not kind of got too buoyant just yet, be it in Edinburgh, outskirts of Edinburgh, down up north. Because I mean, there's so many, like, see the amount of people I speak to, like, you've got Dunkeld,
beautiful spot.
Crieff, you've got... what's the place up north? There's like
you talked about kind of like, why your motivations for property and all that. You talked about freedom for time, living life in your own terms and all that. Did you have a freedom figure in your head, like a monthly?
I think everybody does.
Freedom figure.
On three, we'll say our number, right? We'll see where it's. So on 3, okay. Can your man? So 3, 2, 1,
5.
You didn't say.
That's how
I thought 10 grand.
I'm a tight bastard. And that's why I said 5.
Don't get me wrong. 10 grand doesn't just pay the bills and gives you
he's in Edinburgh.
It's like 10 grand lets you just kind of do what you want. I'm talking 10 grand in your
You
hand.
didn't say yours, so
Yeah,
say
you didn't
it.
say yours.
I don't know. Mine is.
Say it. Just
I don't
you
even
must
know.
have you must think about these things
Nah,
like a freedom
I'm-
figure where you could just say, right, if I had that coming in every
Thing is-
month.
But I've
thing
already
is
got
that-
it from multiple business. I don't think about it. It's just I don't.
I think it would be, for me, it'd be 10 grand, and that's kind of like, but it's the same as when I first started.
Yeah.
10 properties, £1 million in property.
Yeah,
you know,
and you go fucking what's next? I'll
What's
take the
next? And I say to my wife all the time, I'll literally never retire.
Yeah.
Like I'll do, if it is an absolute basic, I'll do one flip a year.
Yeah.
But then the thing is that we've grown a business like this, and I've got properties in different areas. There's guys that I would trust to project manage my property. So I was looking at in another area, I'm not going to tell you where, looking at another area, and I know a good guy from there that's done work for me before, and I said, see, I can't be there all the time. See, when you're in doing your work, would you manage X, Y, and Z? Like I would go up and mark up everything I wanted. And he was like, yeah, no problem. I said, and all I would expect is you to get paid your day rate and then maybe add on 10% of what they're charging me for you to manage it. And I've got a few of those guys dotted around, and that's where I potentially, because when I had 3 running at once, like 3 big projects, and it was, I was like shattered.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to do as much as I could, but you're trying to keep on top of the budget.
Yeah.
You're trying to keep on top of problems. You're trying to do this,
Procure the
and it
materials
just
right,
stretched.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
like super stressed. So I was like, it's great that I had 3 properties, and the ones I'm offering on. So one, obviously I'm in my buy to let just now that I'm doing, and I get a flip tomorrow. So I'm offering on stuff, but I'm telling them I don't want that till the end of January.
Yeah.
And legals can't handle a 2-3 week turnaround. My solicitor can't handle that timeline anyway.
This time of year,
so the end of January is fine. So I can start offering now.
Yeah.
But I think it'll for me, I'll just carry on doing what I'm doing, unless something drastically changes that I need to write a book and become a property coach.
I think you've got that in you,
There's
mate.
plenty of room for you there, mate.
Do you know what?
Did you not do it? But I'm sure I've
I've coached a few people, yeah, and it just nothing on social media, just friends of friends wanting to get into it. I've got X amount of money. What could I do with it? We have a phone call. We have a coffee. The thing I really struggled with was how do you monetize it? Because I'm like you, so generous with my time that I can't. If I bill you for every minute, it's going to be costing you thousands. And I'm like, I didn't really know it. And I was like, so I got a little bit of money for doing the course. I wrote the course, and they enjoyed it. I hope they got some from it. And then some people that I've spoken to 5 years ago still not doing anything. Some people we speak to last week, I got my first deal. But it's not something I would advertise or are going to do just yet. But it would be something eventually maybe that you could, if you're taking a bit of a step back, you can coach people, because it opens up loads of opportunities. You coach somebody that's got, quite a bit of money, or really good at finding deals.
Yeah.
You coach them, you're the first point of call, and that's great to be, but I've done it kind of under the radar, really enjoyed it. Actually really enjoyed it because we do like a weekly kind of like video chat and like, what have you seen? And I'll say, send me your deal. We'd analyze it. And I'm like, that's actually really good. And what I say to them is, I don't know your area, like where you're from, but you do. So I'll probably never find a deal in your area through word of mouth, whereas you will. Just get me the details and we can have a wee chat about it. So I really enjoyed it, but not on the cards just yet. But yeah.
It's good, mate. Hopefully we won't see you in another 5 years. Hopefully it'll be a lot sooner.
Summer. It's you in the winter, you in the summer.
Let's get that snowboarding trip as well. Brilliant.
Lovely.
Nice one. Thanks for coming,
Thanks so much
Russell.
for having me. Appreciate
Cheers, mate.
it. Cheers.